How's it going, gamers? I read Dreamhouse by Marcia Kajelberg, and I fucking love this book, but I absolutely hated reading it. First off, why I love hardcovers, right? I when I get the chance to buy a book of my choice, I usually go for hardcovers because, you know, books are relatively cheap. I don't mind paying the extra, you know, few bucks for a nice edition. I don't mind that, but why do people put fucking sleeves on their hardcovers? Look at that, watch. It just slides right out. Fuck. I hate it. I hate sleeves. I hate sleeves so goddamn much. Like, it's a nice cover. Look at that. It's very pretty. I love the aesthetic going on. But you just hold it, and it slowly starts to come. No. Anywho. Yes, I absolutely fucking loved Dreamhouse. It was a very sweet, wholesome story by the end of it. But reading it infuriated me. Because, you know, okay, first off, the structure of the book pissed me off a little bit. It made me a little angry. Just, you know, okay, so the chapters, Marcia wrote this book by, the way Marcia wrote this book confused the hell out of me. Like, it made sense, like, on paper. That joke doesn't work here. But, like, it made sense in theory, but, like, when you actually start writing the book, it makes for some very, very confusing and weird moments. Each chapter is, I should probably explain what the fuck the book's about, right? It's about a woman finding herself randomly, without any memory of what happened beforehand, but she finds herself randomly in front of her dream house, her house that she has dreamt of living in since she was a kid. And she doesn't know how she got there, but she just stares at this house in trance. And she doesn't know how she got there. And then the old elderly couple that owns the house comes out and invites her in, right? And everything seems normal until a storm comes in, and they're like, "Oh shit, a storm's about to come in. Do you want to spend the night?" And she's like, "Yeah, I want to spend the night. I'm willing to stay here for the storm to pass over." And then, once she awakens from her sleepy time, the people who owns the house disappeared. She's all alone in the house, and she has no idea where they went. And that's the entire book. The entire book's just about what the fuck happened. And there's a few other stuff going on here and there, but that's the gist. Anywho, the chapters are written per day. Like, day 1 is chapter 1, day 2 is chapter 2. Which makes sense in theory, right? But it makes for some very, very weird, awkward moments when in some, like, chapter 5, let's say, it's not really chapter 5, but, like, let's say some random chapter, she picks up a note that's, like, a big part of the story. She finds some note with some information on it, and then all of a sudden, she stares at the note for seemingly 10 hours straight. All of a sudden, she's tired, and she goes and crashes. Like, that makes no fucking sense. It's written that way just for the chapter end, for the next thing to happen in the next chapter. It's very confusing, and I wasn't a big fan of it. I found myself like, why is she staring at this one piece of paper for 12 hours straight just for her to take a nap? And then the next chapter begins. It's very weird, but if you look past that point, like I did, I pushed through. And if you look at the story itself, it's fucking it's fucking sweet as hell. It's a very wholesome story. By the end of it, it got me a little emotional. I'm not gonna lie. The ending of the book got me a little emotional. I'm not gonna lie. It was very wholesome, very sweet. Not what I was expecting. I thought it was something, like, I don't know, like, when people were talking to me about this book before I even bought it, people were talking about how it was supposed to be a spooky book, and I just assumed it was supposed to be, like, kind of a horror book because it was paranormal. And I don't know why I had that thought in my head. It's not spooky at all. Maybe for some people it is, if they have, like, a real issue with being alone, and, maybe paranormal-wise. But, yeah, it wasn't scary at all. It was actually, if anything, very, very wholesome. There were some moments that were kind of spooky, but I'm like, no, not really. It didn't really get me. didn't really get me, and I don't think the book was even supposed to be spooky in the first place. If it was, yikes. But no, it was a very wholesome book, and I'm glad I finished it. I hated how it was structured, but besides that, the book was very wholesome. If you like just a sweet, wholesome story, I highly recommend it. I realized after, I forget how cautious I am with books. I think I talked about this in my last book review, but same thing happened here. Halfway through the book, I just sat there like, I'm not sure if I like this. I don't think this is my type of book. I don't think this is my thing. And I finally pushed through, and like the final few chapters, I absolutely adored, even though it was structured very weirdly. The girl just randomly like, oh, I'm tired now. I'm gonna crash for like 24 hours straight, and I'm gonna get up randomly just for the chapter to end. It's fucking weird, but I absolutely adore the last few chapters because they're just very wholesome and very sweet. It takes some turns, and there's some unexpected stuff that happens by the end of the book. But if you know how to read between the lines fairly easily, you can basically figure out the plot of this book by the first chapter. Like, it's not that hard to figure out the plot. It's not that hard to figure out what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the main like the main curveball of the book I saw like within maybe a quarter of the way through, which kind of sucks. I'm glad it did go that way though, because it was very wholesome the way she put it, with the way Marcia wrote it. It was very wholesome and very sweet. But yeah, I did see the curveball coming. It's very easy to go through, I noticed. It's very, very quick to just grind through it. I think it's like 200 pages, so it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. I'm a slow reader, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was like my copy is 213. It's not bad at all. It's a quick read. I definitely needed something like this because I'm going to start Clash of Kings soon, the second book in the Song of Ice and Fire series, and I needed something sweet and something that will warm my heart before I get my heart completely ripped out by George R.R. Martin. But yeah, I found this book very easy to go through because it was very easy to read just overall. I could probably read this if I was way younger. There's certain characters in this book which I'm glad how they ended, because when Marcia first introduces some of these characters, I think, fuck, what was his name? The neighbor. You probably meet him in like the second chapter, I believe. The neighbor. He was extremely weird at first, but it all makes sense at the end. Don't worry. He weirded me out. I thought he was a little bit of a creep, but it does make sense by the end of a book. So don't worry if you're reading this too. Do not worry. It won't make sense by the end of it. But yeah, Avery. I did not like Avery at first. He was okay. That's the thing. I didn't even really like him at the end of the book. He always was very like standoffish and very weird. It makes sense. Then the book, like by the end of it, explains, but it was still very weird. Another thing that pissed me off about this book, which is nothing to do with the book this time. It's just me. I had a similar idea for a story before I even read this book. I'm like, after reading it, I'm like, fuck. Marcia already did that idea. God damn it! I wish I got the fucking paperback edition, because I hate sleeves. Honestly, when I got this book originally, I immediately took off the sleeve. I'm that kind of guy, and I just had it on my shelf like that. It doesn't look bad. I don't mind it. I don't mind the simplistic, style. It just, I hate the sleeves. I hate the sleeves with a passion. I have another book by Bryan Cranston, the actor, the guy that plays in Breaking Bad. His book, and it also came in a fucking sleeve. And when I order shit on Amazon, it doesn't show like the actual print of the book. It just shows like the cover, so you can't tell whether it's a sleeve or an actual like hardcover. You know what I mean? So like I don't know, but until it like until it comes in the mail, I have no idea whether it's a fucking a sleeve or just a regular hardcover. So yeah, I took off sleeves of both of my hardcovers, and yeah, they're just chilling on my desk on my shelf now. I think my next book review is definitely going to be on a Japanese author. I'm in the middle of the book right now, and I fucking love it. Funny enough, speaking of the Kajelbergs. I got this book recommendation through watching PewDiePie's book review. It's by Osamu Dazai. Yeah, if you know, you might know him through the famous character on Bongo Stray Dogs, the anime. They named a character off of him, and basically based that entire character off of him. I didn't know, okay, I knew about the author, and I knew about the anime, but I was too stupid to know that Dazai from the anime and the author is connected. I had no idea. And I'm like, why is this character so suicidal? I don't understand. And I'm like, oh. No, so yeah, next book review is gonna be No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. I'll talk more about it in the next video. But, yes. That's my review on Dreamhouse. I'm gonna rate it a 4 out of 5. Did I not? I don't think I rated the last book. Fuck, what was the last book? It was Breach of Peace. That was also a 4 out of 5, if you would like to know. Every single fucking person that does reviews does ratings differently. Okay, let me explain myself. 5 stars for me is a, like, peak quality for me. At least for my opinion, peak quality. You cannot get better than a 5 out of 5. That's why it's a fucking 5 out of 5. 4 out of 5 means it's solid, means it's good, means I might have some issues with it, but the grand scheme of things, I'll excuse them. Because the book's just that whatever I'm rating is that good. 3 out of 5 is like that middle ground for me. It's just right in the middle. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just right there. It's there. It's fine. I have some complaints and there are some good things about it. 2 out of 5 is it's bad. It's bad. You know, I probably wouldn't read it again. And 1 is god awful. And I probably would fucking hate myself reading. But luckily, I'm pretty picky with my literature. I have to like know about the book and or the author. I have to really trust the author or the book in order for me to actually get it. So I don't think I'll ever actually. I don't know. I think I would have to be aware of how bad it is if I review a 1 out of 5 book. Anywho, that's how I rate things. I've gone through other reviewers, and they do fucking, like, all of the books that they, like, semi-enjoy, they're goddamn 5 out of 5s. I'm like, what? What? That's how you rate things? Anywho. At least that's how I'm gonna explain my rating system. 4 out of 5 for me is a solid, good book. Like, I like the book. It's been real. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope I explained the book at least thoroughly without spoiling anything. At least anything much. I think I only talked about the first 2 chapters, really. And what's on the first 2 chapters is also on the back of the goddamn book. So, I didn't really spoil much. I hope you all enjoyed this video. And I'll see you all in the next one.